When Theodore Roosevelt had been elected to his own term in office in 1904, he promised not to run for what would have been a third term in 1908. His Secretary of War, William Howard Taft, was selected by the Republicans to run against William Jennings Bryan. Taft won easily. As president, Taft seemed far less progressive than Roosevelt. During his first 4 years in office, Taft busted 90 trusts, but his victories weren't celebrated by the media or the public as Roosevelt's had been. Taft had a much more reserved personality, and he felt uncomfortable using his office as a bully pulpit to rouse public opinion. Without a loud, charismatic leader in the White House, progressives began to feel that their cause had been abandoned. After campaigning on lower tariffs, Taft angered the progressive wing of the Republican Party by signing the Aldrich Tariff, which made fewer cuts to rates that progressives sought and increased the rates on many products. Then Taft outraged conservationists by appointing a wealthy Seattle lawyer, Richard Bollinger, to be his Secretary of the Interior. Bollinger disapproved of conservationists controlling so much land in the American West, and he removed 1 million acres of forest from the government protection list and returned it to public domain. When Gifford Pinchot, Roosevelt's appointed head of the U.S. Forest Service, spoke out against Bollinger for his actions, Taft sided with Bollinger and fired Pinchot. As Taft continued to alienate progressives and conservationists, a major rift began to form within the Republican Party. Conservative Republicans and progressives within the party began facing off over a variety of issues. President Taft typically sided with the House Speaker, Joseph Cannon, who often ignored or weakened progressive bills. In the 1910 midterm elections, Democrats reclaimed control of the House of Representatives for the first time in almost 20 years. As the Republican Party splintered under Taft's leadership, Theodore Roosevelt hunted big game in Africa. When he returned to the United States, progressive Republicans encouraged him to seek the party's nomination and a third term for president. Conservative Republicans stood firmly behind Taft. Tempers flared at the Republican National Convention in Chicago as Taft's delegates maneuvered to keep their man in control. Progressive Republicans walked away and formed the Progressive Party. As Roosevelt began campaigning as a third-party candidate, the Progressive Party became known as the Bull Moose Party, after reporters questioned the former president on his health and ability to take on the duties required of a president. "I feel as strong as a bull moose," Roosevelt declared. The split in the Republican Party opened the door for the Democrats to claim the White House for the first time since the election of Grover Cleveland in 1892.